and welcome to our next episode of Talking into Profits, the show where we are diving into powerful conversations with industry experts to uncover actionable insights to help you thrive in your business. To get started today, let's see who's here. And not only that, just let us know that everything is working and that you're hearing us. Let me start you with a question. Have you ever been a guest on a podcast or a show and then just dropped the link to the show once and moved on without ever sharing it again? Let us know in the comments. And that way we not only know you're here and what's going on with you, but that Restream is doing its job too. Because today I am joined by the amazing Helena Demuynck. She is the host of the Oxygen 4 Leadership Podcast. She's also a transformational catalyst. She's just an amazing woman all the way around, which is why I had to invite her here today to talk to you guys, because she empowers smart, conscious women to be leaders and to transcend self-limiting things that they put on themselves. Helena, thank you so much for joining me.
You're so welcome. Thank you so much for having me. I'm super stoked to be here with you. It's going to be fun. I can already feel it. Hi, everyone.
Right?
See people coming in as well.
Yeah, look at this. We've already got Miss Beth that's joining us, and she always comes in from Virginia. Thank you, Beth, for letting us know we are here and sounding and looking good. And Willie is always Willie ends up being my person I call on in the middle of things when I need something done. Poor Willie sometimes. But both of these. He's been on my show. He's just he's a cop turned life coach.
Whoa.
Yeah, 30 years in Willie, we're shouting you out, man. But he is brilliant. And David is here, my hubby as well, watching us too. But guys, today we are going to be exploring why promoting your guest appearances is essential for building credibility, visibility, success, and why so many people miss out on this opportunity. And Helena and I met, I guess, a couple of months ago, and we were just we were both just talking about how we couldn't believe our guests on our shows were not promoting them and putting themselves out there so that people knew that they were putting out all this lovely wisdom. And we were like, we have to do a show.
We had to do a show anyway, so we could as well do it about this, right?
Right. And I mean, here we are. We're both experienced hosts, and we see this all the time where people just don't share the shows. They leave it all up to the host thinking and we do, we put it out. Yeah. But at the same time, it's about you and you're building your credibility and stuff. So if you aren't sharing them, you are missing out on so much. And we want to make sure that's not happening, right?
Exactly. Absolutely. It's about showing up, It's not only showing up on the podcast or on the talk show or wherever you are or on stage. It's also about showing up in the universe. It's showing up online. And I understand that sometimes that feels a little bit scary because especially in the world that we live in right now, everything is judged. They like you, they don't like you. Everybody has an opinion on how you look, what is in your background, how you talk, especially if you're not native English and you're podcasting or talk showing in English like I do. I make amazing mistakes, but they're just me, But a lot of us are afraid to show up, and they're afraid that people might think they're too much self-centered. While basically sharing your podcast or sharing the snippets that most of us provide is building your authority. Those are snippets with very valuable information, with good content that you can share with your audience. Your audience will learn. So basically you are serving your audience by sharing. It's not about you, it's about your audience and how you share them, right, Heidi?
It is so right. And I mean, you're hitting all the notes there with that sharing it is serving, and you've put the effort into doing this. And I like to remind my people that actually when you are a guest on a show, you're creating this amazing piece of content that didn't take you as much effort. I mean, the host, we put way more into it. And you at the same time are getting this amazing piece of content that shows you're credible, because the host wouldn't have invited you on if you weren't.
Mm.
And they're sitting there saying, wow, this person, you need to listen to them. But then you don't share it with your people. So they're missing out on all that gold you shared. And I find it easier to be a guest on a show. I don't know about you.
Well, I think yes, I do, and maybe it's like a side jump, but I think it's easier to be on a show. Although it is very important to do some research beforehand in terms of what audience is your host serving. Is it your audience? Will you be relevant to them? How many views do they have? Are they very active? I've been invited for podcasts where when I checked it, like on YouTube, there were like 3 views. Yeah, they had like 20 episodes and there were between 3 and 8 views. I don't do that anymore, Heidi.
Mm.
I
I
don't
was
do
going
that
to say,
anymore.
don't judge me for my YouTube right now. I'm just working on it. But my
That's okay. We
LinkedIn
have to
has
start
swept.
somewhere. We have to start somewhere. But it is about audiences. I mean, you're on LinkedIn, you're on YouTube, you're
Yeah.
everywhere. Me too. And you have to select your main platforms. For me,
Agreed.
it's LinkedIn. It has been LinkedIn for years. And as of
Mhm.
this year, I said I'm also going to invest in YouTube. And man, you have no
Same.
idea what I do in order to get my visibility and my authority up, on YouTube. Not only mine, also my guests, because I have 2 shows per week that I put on YouTube
Yeah.
also. So if people want to watch that, let me know. I can give you the link. You see, that's how I do it. That's how I get views, right? It
Right?
is it is about
Invite them.
choosing where, right? And it's so important to understand that if you are on a podcast and you are on a podcast with a lot of views, a lot of traction, a lot of activity, that for you it is a possibility and an opportunity to get business, to build that know, like, and trust, or know, love, and trust, maybe, if you do a very good job on the stage, to build that with a new audience, because your audience is yours. And how much time did you spend building your audience? Just imagine you have access to a similar audience like that, your host is just offering you that audience, and then you can start mixing those audiences, because if you're only visible with your amazing content for the audience of your host, you leave out your audience. So
Right?
go online, share these snippets, share the links, and make sure that your audience also sees it, right? It, for me, it's so obvious. I have no idea. I know
I
it's
know.
time, it's reluctance to show up. And if there's any other reason in the audience, if you have other reasons why you think people don't share, or why you are reluctant to share, let us know. It's so important for us to understand, so we can also we also know how to support you and to sponsor you to do that, to make that step into the big
Right?
world.
I mean, it is true. It's like you said. I mean, to me, it seems so obvious, because why wouldn't I want to be putting out that I did this amazing, guest show, and I want everybody to hear it? But yeah, I mean, and I think some of it is people, yeah, they're worried about being seen as bragging. They're also, like you said earlier, they're a little worried about being judged by maybe friends and family seeing it. And also, I think it's just in a sense a lack from the people that I work with, clients and stuff I've worked with. They just don't really know. It's this whole thing. Let's drop this link one time. I put it out, and then they don't realize, and I think they forget that less than 10% of people are ever going to see that one time you dropped it
Less, less,
out.
less, a lot less. Absolutely. Are you aware of the algorithms of LinkedIn and the other social media? You can put it out 20 times, and chances are your audience will hopefully see it once. Even
Yeah,
if they see 2 or 3 of your snippets, there will be 3 different things, 3 different
exactly.
messages,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, it's literally even your super fans, like the people who engage, like Beth here is my number one fan. She's the head of my fan club, and I still guarantee that she does not see all of my content, because we've talked about it.
Mm.
And this is someone who regularly engages with me all the time, and those are the people that are going to see the most of your content. And I'm betting money she doesn't even see 50% of what I put out.
Mm.
And so, guys, you got to let this stuff go. And it doesn't matter. Put it out there anyway. I mean, like Helena said, it could be 3 clips, but nobody's seen all 3 of them. And even if they have, it's a reminder.
Yeah, but there are three different clips, Heidi. So, I mean, it doesn't matter either. And just to give some ideas, you can post like I guess a lot of us are LinkedIn users, right? So you can post them on LinkedIn, right? But you can also upload the videos on LinkedIn. So it's not a post, but it's a video. So it's a completely different engagement of your audience. What I also do is for each of my talk shows, I have a newsletter. And probably people in your audience also have newsletters. Now, if you have a newsletter, that means that all your connections have had the opportunity to register for your newsletter. So I have 3 actually. I have Oxygen for Leadership, which has more than 4,000 subscribers. I have the Boundary Breakers Collective, which is my talk show number 1, has more than 3,000. And 3 weeks ago, I started the Power Talks for Remarkable Females, which is my other talk show. In 1 week, I had 2,100 registrants, right? So these people, every time I put out a newsletter, they receive a message. If they have the mentioning in their email, I took that out, to be very honest, because I have so many newsletters. I have like an overwhelm of emails that LinkedIn has something for me. But in my newsletter, I embed the video. I say,
Nice.
last week I had this amazing conversation with Heidi. We were talking about that and that. And then I embed the video. So in all my newsletters, I have,
Mm-hmm.
I can exaggerate sometimes, 3 videos embedded, plus the link to the playlist. Yeah.
Yeah.
So everybody who is on a podcast can do that. Write about it. Write about it in your newsletter. Like, you write an article and then you have announcements or whatever you want to share. And then you can put like a little paragraph about what you have been talking about, and you just embed. So don't put a link. LinkedIn has a possibility to embed in one of these functions when you create an article, and you just copy the link on YouTube, for example, of your video or your snippet, and you embed it, and there it is. It is. It appears in your newsletter. Isn't that amazing? I
I
mean,
know.
come on,
It is.
people.
And it makes it easy because then people don't have to go searching for it. They literally click through and start watching.
Exactly.
And then there's the advantage too. I mean, of the clips. I mean, not everybody necessarily sees the value immediately of watching like a longer show like this at
Mhm.
first. But then they start seeing your little clips, which of course lead to our bigger ones. And all of a sudden they're like, wow, that was really cool. Maybe I do want to know more. And the next thing you know, they're watching the long ones. So many different ways to get them there that we're
Yeah.
missing out on by not sharing them.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you are on a podcast or on a talk show, and when you put it out on your social media, make sure you have a call to action for them. Have a freebie or have an invitation to book a call with you, or whatever it is that you do and that you want to offer. And then if you promote your clip or whatever, you add that call to action again, because that's the whole thing, right? You want people to connect with you. You want people to be curious. You want people to ask, hey, what is it that you do? And I learned from you that and that. Can we talk a little bit deeper about that? So, I mean, this is just logic, I would say. I mean, if you are in business, if you are an entrepreneur, it is about showing up and get out there and tell people what you do and how you can serve them, and make sure they feel the energy that you radiate, right? And on video, it's so simple. It's a lot easier on video than when you write something or so. This is an amazing opportunity. So you create a strategy around that. Heidi, I'm sure that you have programs and you do that with your clients also to create
Yes, ma'am.
strategies around that, right? Yeah, don't be shy.
Absolutely. Yeah, because it is. And the advantage to people, a lot of people don't realize this. Written content's great, it's good. But here's the thing, when you start doing videos and even lives like this, where everybody can engage with us, but on videos, you're hearing us, you're seeing us. And it actually builds trust faster because you're engaging more of the senses. And that is one thing people don't realize, that by sharing that more, you're helping shortcut the process to building trust. Because at the end of the
Mm,
day, we're trying to build trust. People
Yeah.
trust us, then they want to work with us. They see us as viable candidates and all. And writing, like I said, writing's good. It's really good. But video, getting on here to be able to actually talk to us, seeing us move and smile, or, if we, oh, that was horrible, or whatever, that's helping build that trust so much faster. So I like to call this, people are like, on marketing, it takes time. But if you want to shortcut things, get where you can actually, people can see you. And then they can start connecting much quicker. And that's the shortcut. You want
Mhm.
shortcuts, because there's no hacks to actually this, but if you want shortcuts, video and podcast, hearing people, things like that is one of them. So
Absolutely, absolutely, and it is about finding the courage and building the confidence to go there. I have to be very honest, and you might not believe that I'm an introvert. Okay, nobody believes that, but I am. And
don't.
when I spend time with a lot of people, I need time on my own to process. Yeah,
Yeah.
um, I would say 7 years ago, we were talking before we went live, we were talking about creating websites. 7 years ago, I was creating my websites and I wanted videos on my website in order not to have text all the time.
Yeah.
And I took 43 takes
Oh wow.
just for a message to invite them to connect with me and to call me or to book a discovery call. 43 takes, right? And the 43rd, I was so tired and frustrated. I just put it on, and my son was like, he's a very mild critic on what I do, right? He's a different generation, which is important. And he said, Mom, if this is all you could do after 43 takes, I don't know, take a course. And that was because I was so self-aware.
Yeah.
I was so like, the light and what I said, and I had it scripted because I didn't trust myself. I scripted, right? I
Yeah.
mean, I do 3 or 4 live or pre-recorded talks per week. I never script anymore, because when I start scripting, I start having this completely unnatural thing. Like, well, sometimes I script when I introduce my guests, right? And
Hmm.
then you have to read it, because I don't learn all these things by heart anymore. And there already you feel it's not natural. You lose the connection. You lose a connection with the camera, so you lose a connection with your audience. And so it is becoming camera confident. So for those that don't even have to bother about not posting their appearances, but they have to bother about appearing because they are afraid, or they're camera shy or whatever. Just practice. Put your phone on a ring, and practice, albeit an hour per day, talking how you look, what is your better angle, if you feel self-aware about that. And just do this. It is,
Oh,
especially when you're an entrepreneur, especially when you want to build your credibility and your authority. People want to know what you think. People want to know what you do. And if you are afraid to come on camera, then it makes things a lot, I mean, it's not the end of the world, but it makes things a lot more difficult to get there. So practice and come on
well,
camera and
well,
do it with somebody you trust, right?
yeah, and I want to address that, because this is something I actually address a lot with my clients. Some of them are very introverted, and no, I would have never believed you were an introvert. But some of them are like, no, I don't want to be seen on camera. And what I remind them, for creating content, is what they're always saying. And I remind them, well, you're going to have to get on camera for your clients. So if you got to do that, then why not start creating the content and letting them connect with you? Because I have an amazing client that she's worried about getting on camera right now, but her personality, man, her writing is good. Doris, I'm talking about you. Doris is amazing on camera. Her personality comes through. And yet, when it comes to her marketing content, she's a little worried about doing it. And I'm just like, but when you see Doris, Beth, you know what I'm talking about. When you see Doris get on camera, I mean, she just shines. And that sells her. So I'm really encouraging her to do that with her content too, because she's just brilliant. She's
Yeah.
absolutely brilliant. But for everybody, it's you're going to be getting on camera with your clients, and I get it. I'm like Helena. When my first times doing recordings, I honestly don't know how many takes I took. I know they were horrible, and I know I finally actually had to start having a glass of wine before I start recording first, just to loosen myself up enough to actually do it. I had so much stage fright of being on camera. I was always the person happy to be behind the camera, not in front of it. And
Yeah.
my first takes horrible, absolutely horrible. And I mean, it's like Willie here says, just do it. Imperfect action always beats perfect inaction, says the guy with the face for radio. Willie, you are amazing
I
on
love
camera.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Doris is amazing, natural, funny, authentic, and smart. She is. She's absolutely brilliant, and her personality sells her. So we really want her showing up, but it helps, in my opinion, for getting on these shows where you come on with a good host like you
Yes.
are, and they can guide you. So maybe
Yeah.
you're not so great doing it for yourself at first, but when you get on with an experienced host, they're going to hold your hand through the whole thing.
Yeah. Exactly. And I mean, I sometimes have people arriving on the show with like a complete set of papers with preparation. And they say, is it okay if I keep this in front of me? I say, yes, of course. I mean, you have to know one of my shows is, it's called the Boundary Breakers Collective, and it is about them. We're talking about them. You don't need to prepare about them. If you would ask me to talk about, um, climate change and things like that, I would have to prepare, right? Because I
Yeah.
would have to do research and things like that, because I know what everybody knows, but that's it. But we're talking about them. And then I say, yes, of course you can have your preparation. That's not a problem. And then after the show, they say, I didn't look at my paper. I said, I know, but I didn't want to warn you about that, because what's the point? I mean, if it made you more confident to have that paper, it's just that, if you have a host that is guiding you through the conversation just organically and soft and sweet, and creates a space for you to just be who you are, it's a wonderful experience. I tell you, it's a wonderful experience. And Haley, I know that you can do that too. It's just, we're just here. There's no competition. There's no, there's no fighting. There's like this organic conversation where everybody brings in what they have to bring in, and also the audience. And thank you so much for that. It's something I'm not sure, Derek, if 4 whiskey shots is a good preparation for a show. It might be a little bit too much. Well, I wouldn't try it, but maybe it might be very funny. If you do one and you have these 4 whiskeys, let me know. I will watch.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
I was gonna. I know. I started giggling when I seen his comment come up. But yeah, Derek, I'm with Helena. If you do one with 4 whiskey shots, let us know. We'll be in the audience.
absolutely. Yeah.
But it's so true. And I mean, and this is a thing I think people are worried about. They're afraid to get on, and of course they're gonna. You know what, guys? You're gonna fuck it up at times. You're gonna make mistakes. It's not going to be perfect. Shoot, I was on TV the first time last Friday and my internet went out. It took me 5 minutes to get back on. That's just part of being alive.
Oh,
And
wow.
oh, I know. I was like, oh my God. And it was
I
just,
cannot
but
imagine. That
hey,
must be a very bad feeling. Yeah.
it sucked. But at the same time, the host carried the show in the meantime. Oh, the worst one on my own lives one time, the internet went off, and I actually had a guest on the show, Nikki Carter. And it was her first time doing a live, and
Oh,
my
poor
internet
girl.
went down. It went out. It rarely goes out, but it's gone out twice on me while I was doing lives, and it went out on her. And she was brilliant at continuing to carry the show, having never done it before. Girl took over the show and just rocked with it. I mean, she's the lead magnet queen, and her first live, she did amazing. But guys, this stuff happens. But if you're gonna go on, your guest speaking. I don't know of any host, unless you're going maybe on one of those reality TV shows or something like that, where any host is going to be like trying to do a gotcha. I mean, they're
Mm.
not there to set you up to make you look bad. They're there to help you look great, because it makes them look great because it's good for their show, but they don't want you to look bad either.
Of
So
course.
just
Yeah.
remember
Yeah,
that.
well, there's one thing that I would advise there, Heidi, and it is go and watch some of their shows or go and listen to some of their shows. Because last year I rejected an invitation because I listened to the shows. It was a guy. Yeah, sorry, guys. 80% of the time he was talking. And the 20% that
Yeah.
the guest was talking, she was interrupted all the time. And I said,
Yeah.
oh, interesting. It felt like a meeting, it felt like a meeting in one of these toxic corporations, male dominated corporations. And I said, not going to be on that show. No. So do some prep work. Listen to some of their episodes. I always ask, send me the link of your episode so I can listen to a few. And if you don't feel the energy, this morning I had another one and I watched 3 episodes. I didn't feel the energy of the host. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. So it's simple.
I
Just,
agree.
feel. Trust your gut. Trust your instincts or your intuition there. Yeah.
Yeah, as long as you're not letting fear stand in the way and stop you from doing it, I agree. I'm with you. I'm always like, do the homework because some people are like, "Will you come on my show?" And I'm like, "Okay, send me the link." Because if it's not going to be the right energy, the right vibe, I don't want to be on it either. It's not going to do us
Exactly.
any good. So it
Hmm.
definitely a thing. Yeah, like Beth said, we just had we always have one siren that comes on my show. We now have it's become the signature. Everybody listens for the siren. But let's see, Derek, I had a host internet go out and I had to take over this show as the host for an hour. An hour. Oh boy.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh,
That's a long
wow.
time. Well,
Well
kudos to
done,
you,
Derek.
Derek. Wow. Yeah. But you see, we underestimate ourselves.
Yeah.
And we underestimate what we can do when we need to do it. Like, I guess sometimes, Derek, a man has to do what he has to do, right? And it's just in those situations that we show our boldness and our courage. Yeah,
I
beautiful.
agree. Derek, I just got to ask, were you taking whiskey shots through the whole thing? So, if you're going to have a guest on your show, what do you recommend as three practical strategies to your guest to maximize their appearances? Do you offer that to your guest ahead of time? Tell them.
Basically, I have quite some communication beforehand, but it's not. It's pretty practical, like the setup, the internet connection, the lights, the background,
Yeah,
what they wear, mic, good camera, things like that. It's about. I always I have a preparation form. So in this prep or application form, depending. So they're already. I guide them to a reflection process, right? Like the title of your talk, the outline, what is it that you want to bring, where did you get the expertise for that? So just in order to prepare them that when we come on stage or online, even if it's very organic, there's already like some kind of setting that we
yeah,
have prepared, right?
yeah.
And that's enough, and then you just have this amazing conversation.
I
Do
agree.
you have strategies that you share with your guests?
I do. I have an email that goes out. I mean, just telling them what to be prepared for and to come as they are. I think that's one thing to remind them too is make sure you're just coming as you. So
Hmm.
many people feel like they got to put something on or be someone they're not, and that's not what we're looking for. We're looking
Yeah,
for you bringing your knowledge and
real
sharing
people.
you. Yeah, and so, but yeah, I have an email that goes out and lets them know what to prepare, where the link, and then I also like to have them show up 10 or 15 minutes before the show, and we
Yeah,
just run through everything.
yeah.
And of course,
We'll talk
I've
about the
suggested,
craziest things
yeah,
that have
I've
nothing to do with the show.
oh,
Yeah.
I know, right? Oh, Derek did Everclear, he says on that one. and Beth suggested we actually do a drinking game on my sirens. Beth, it's usually only one. We've only had one guest that had three. But
Yeah.
let's see.
I
So,
see Beth's also saying that she has a form. Yeah, I do have questions also in that form. And some people say, are you going to use the questions? And I said, I cannot promise you that. I might start with one and then we
same.
see where it goes. We see where it goes because it is the most amazing thing. And that's why I like to co-create. I mean, you have YouTubers showing up every day or every week and they just spit it out for an hour on their own. And that's amazing. I mean, I
Mhm.
really admire that. What I love is the co-creational aspects.
Same.
And something emerges from two people joining to bring content, but also to make fun in the meantime. Something very unique and original emerges. And you can have 20 questions prepared and you can have everything in your head that you wanted to say, and it might be something completely different. Like I told you, Heidi, I was doing a talk show and I forgot to record it. And so the
Yeah.
next week we did it again and we had a completely different conversation on the same topic. I like this co-creation because it's activating our prefrontal cortex or executive brain, and it is really creating unique content that you will never find and you will never regenerate again.
I
It's
I
amazing.
agree, and I mean, I think that's what makes them so special. I'm with you. I mean, don't get me. Earlier today, I had to record a training for an upcoming summit. The one that goes in the vault for everyone and stuff. And it's really good. It's still fun, but it's nowhere near as fun as the one I have when I have somebody on there with me, even if they're just hanging out in the audience and I actually am speaking to a person. Because I can envision them behind the camera. I know who I'm talking to, but it's so different, that energy we bring when people are on there with us. And then on these shows, like you said, I mean, well, it was like the prep we did right before, and I'm like, look, as long as we hit the three main points we gave them, everything else we're gonna just bring it to them. That's it. And I mean, that's all I do. And these shows turn out so special. And 9 times out of 10, didn't necessarily take the direction I thought it would.
Yeah, that's a big surprise. And this is also something that I would like to give as a tip or an advice. Embrace the unknown. I mean, you don't have to know where it is going in a talk show or a podcast. You don't have to know. Just be yourself, and you have something to say about the topic. If not, you would not be invited, right? So, why do you need to know? Why? Because we feel that if we know, we're better prepared and we will do better. And no, I mean, if we are there authentically and genuinely engaging, that's where people feel the connection and feel also engaged, not when you are like the completely over prepared person that is really talking in bullet points, right?
Hmm. Well, and it's just like I always like right now, even guys. I sit here. I do have because occasionally I got some guests who are not like Helena that need a little more prompting to get out what the magic is. So I do have some questions prepared just in case that I
Mm.
need to do a little extra. But when it's a good conversation like this, I never have to use them.
Mhm. No, you made me curious, Heidi. What questions do you have prepared?
Well, it's just it's ones to make sure. Let's see. We have one here that is about. Well, I did ask you about the three practical strategies just because I wanted to make sure that was one for people. And then on up, we were talking about. Can you share it? Because some people aren't good with stories. You're great with sharing stories, but so one of them was, can you share a story of someone who transformed their relationship with visibility by going through guest speaking and sharing their guest speaking? So that was one of them. Because a lot of people, some people just aren't good at story sharing.
Yeah, I had an amazing interview or conversation with a young girl. She was not really my target guest, But she wrote to me, and in a way that really touched my heart. And I said, well, I want to interview her because she does amazing things, and she doesn't live a life that is like very linear, and how young people are supposed to live it. I mean, it's still like we were supposed to live it, right? Study very hard, work very hard, and then when we're 67,
Yeah.
nothing. I've never agreed with that, and I will never agree with that. And she already did that when she was 25. And
Yes.
I said, whoa, she's smart. It took me a lot longer to get that. And so we had this conversation, and she was a little bit nervous. And in the end, she said, this is the first time I was on a show, and I was very nervous. And now I know that I don't have to be. I can just be myself. And I can't wait to be on another one. And this is a completely different mindset now than I had like an hour ago, because it was just, it was just fun. And I said, well, great, because it's so important that you share your story of success on your terms, and living your life by design in a way that is just amazing and absolutely impactful and contributing to creating a better world, which is my mission, and I guess the mission of a lot of people somehow. So I thought that was a very good, that was great to do that. She could have been, well, not my granddaughter, but at least a very young daughter.
That's so incredible you gave her that chance to
Yeah.
do that. And then what better way to actually have your first experience, but with someone as, experienced as yourself
Mm.
that can guide her through it and give her that good the really good experience of actually being a
Yeah.
guest on a show. I don't know. I can remember a couple of my first ones because that was before I was picky. I was still saying yes to everyone at that point who was willing to have me on. At that point, I was still learning to be on camera. So
Very
if
good. Exactly.
somebody was willing to accept my ums and my little mistakes here and there, I pretty much said yes. But there was definitely a couple of times where it got awkward because the host wasn't experienced either, and sometimes there would be those pauses of like, oh, what do we say next?
Really, you?
You would not have said that 6 years ago, Helena.
Oh gosh.
Let's
Yeah.
see. Miss Beth said, spot on, Heidi. Having a guest is so much better than going solo, and the energy of a
Mm.
live versus recorded. It really is different. And
Yeah.
the So everyone in our audience here, and what questions do you want to ask Helena while she's here? I mean, get it out. What are even me, but Helena's here. Get what you can from her because she's bringing the gold, obviously, for you guys. Drop them in the comments. We've got a little lag, more lag than normal today, so get those in now so that she can answer those for you. And then
Mm.
Helena, I always love to ask my guest, what is one last piece of advice you really want our audience to take away with today?
I would invite everybody to share their stories and to share their knowledge. There's so many possibilities right now to show up and to go public, to go live. And it's an amazing experience to do that. And I know that there's so many things already, because that might also be a reason why you are considering not to do that, because there's so many podcasts already, there's so many internet already, and what isn't there will be invented by AI, right? And still, you have followers. You are a role model for people, whether it is for your community, whether it is in your job, in your professional setting, whether it is your clients or your stakeholders as an entrepreneur. Just show up, just be there and share your stories. Learn to bring them in a way that is heartfelt. I see a lot of people bring stories like their PowerPoint presentations, like they're very intellectual, right? Translate those to heartfelt stories that you feel good with, that you connect with your heart when you are telling those stories and when you are sharing experiences. And people want to learn from people who bring heartfelt stories, and try to learn to use metaphors or to use examples, things that people can relate to, and just do it. I would say just do it. Go out there. That's my invitation. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I so agree. I mean, and that's the only way to do it too, is just get out there and do them. And I mean,
Yeah,
oh, brilliant advice and stuff too. And to add on to that, something I always remind my clients when they're going to start doing lives or even recorded events is that you're going to hate the first ones.
yeah,
Do it anyway, rip the band-aid off, get them out there, because this is something you cannot learn to do without doing it. I mean, we
yeah,
can teach you all day long, but until you actually take action on it and do it, even if you need the 4 shots of whiskey like Derek does, or the glass of wine like I did, or you're going to do the honestly, I don't know of anybody who didn't loved their first one anyway, but you only get better with each one you do. So make
yeah.
sure you guys are doing them.
Absolutely. And if you want, I mean, apply for our shows. Maybe that can be like a first one. You would be in very good hands, right, Haiti?
Yes, yes. And I seem to remember too, you have a brilliant, yeah, you've got a guide too that I know is about helping people with strategies to build inner resilience, which of course can lead over into being a guest as well, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're
I
going to
have a
be
freebie that is downloadable. It's on my LinkedIn page as well.
Mhm.
If you want to, or I don't know, Heidi, if you can put a link on
I'm
in
doing it.
in the comments or in the show notes. But yeah, and I would say if you want to see some examples, watch our podcasts, watch all our episodes. It gives us extra views and comment on them and like them and register, subscribe our channels. Just, it's such, I love it when people do that because it shows appreciation for what we do, right?
Oh, it
Because I
does.
see a lot of people that say, "Oh, we saw that show," and I say, "Okay, you didn't react at all." They don't have to, because I know if you have like 50 likes, probably 500 people said, "Oh, that was good," but not everybody shows that. I take it as a mission to like and comment
Hmm.
because I know the effort that people make to do that. And I want them to know that I appreciate them and that I respect that. And so when people do that for me and also for you, it warms my heart. I'm
Oh,
honestly,
I
yeah,
agree. I agree. Well, and not only that, I mean, you never know when you're going to want to be a guest on the show. And by commenting and liking and showing up, that you're already making those connections where the guest is or the host has already been like, oh, who is this person? And then when you finally reach out, maybe you pitch them or they've loved your comments and they invite you on anyway. So yeah,
right.
we love to be shown love.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
and it's the same love we share with you guys because we share your shows and stuff too, and we're promoting you and everything. So do make sure you're doing that for us. We do appreciate it. I don't know if we don't have comments, but the lag has been really hard. So hopefully, guys, get your questions in if you got them. We got about 5 more minutes that she can answer questions for you, and so ask her. I know you've all got questions. Derek, I know you're trying to get on stage, so ask her some questions and whatever you can. But yeah, I know the
Mm,
lag's being exceptionally bad on getting the comments through today. So guys, if not, we will
yeah,
answer them after the show and everything.
exactly.
And also, I want to do a quick invite. My networking event is happening next Wednesday at 12 p.m. I'm getting my shows screwed up right now, but 12 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. UK. So come network with us. Helena, you are, of course, invited as well if
Thank
you got
you. Yeah.
we always have a really good group. And for everyone, this is actually the last show for this season of the Talking into Profits. We'll be back a little later in June to start bringing you more amazing guests. But how much better could we have closed out our season with Helena? I
I
mean,
feel honored. Thank you so much.
thank you so much for bringing your gold with us in this amazing conversation today. And then Miss Beth is here with a question. What is your go to backup if a guest can't make it last minute? Great question.
That is an amazing question. I had that twice already. I just canceled the episode. The first, Well, actually, I had it 3 times. And the first time, I took the episode myself fully, and I said, I'm not going to do that anymore. So I
Yeah.
send them a note, because sometimes, I mean, the 2 times was because something happened,
Yeah.
something bad happened to them. And so we rescheduled. That's basically, I don't have a backup in terms of, if I live stream, I might stream something else, but it's technically not so easy, because you are set up with a lot of
Yeah.
things that you cannot like undo and redo. So sometimes this thing happen, and my backup plan is not to get frustrated.
Yes. And I know
Yeah.
for me, I actually, oh, Derek, what type of alcohol do you provide your guest?
I don't drink alcohol, so she didn't suggest anything to me. I don't know what
Oh,
you normally do,
no.
Heidi,
And
but
she's in
I don't drink.
Spain,
I'm
Derek.
crazy as it is. I don't need to drink for that.
I don't anymore, but I do have to say those first few shows, it helped. Derek,
Good
you're going to be
question.
sober on Helena's show. Or provide your own.
Exactly. Beautiful.
Oh, Lord. But I was going to add, as far as back to Beth's question, real quick, too. Um, because I do lives and quite a bit of promotion goes into them regularly, I tend to have a backup show now because I had a guest show, not show, and then. But I also have a couple of people in the background. I don't know if you do this or not, but like a lot of times Beth may be available, or I have somebody else, and I can call them up and I can like, hey, my guest couldn't make it. Still love to do a show. Can you
Mm,
come on? and
yeah.
and I'll do that. So I'm still not doing it on my own. I can if I need to and want to, but
Mm,
it's kind of nice to
yeah.
have some backup people every now and then
Yeah.
because some things shit happens.
That's true. Absolutely. Especially if it happens last minute, then
Yeah.
it's a problem. Yeah. But it's not the end of the world. There will be
Mhm.
shows,
Yeah.
time after time. So
Yeah,
yeah.
and usually for me it is last minute if no one shows. It's
Hmm.
not like I had a week to be able to put out a, hey, I have got to cancel this one or we got to move this
But
guest.
then you can organize yourself. Absolutely. Hmm.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. All right.
Good
Well,
question.
yeah. Excellent question. Yeah, because it does happen. I mean, things happen. I mean, I have parents that come on the show. Sometimes their kids get sick or somebody gets sick. So you just
Hmm.
never know. Things do happen.
Yeah.
So, and
Absolutely.
big thing is if you're going to be a guest on a show, let me put this out there since I had a late guest on my last one who did not let me know they were going to be late. So
Wow.
communicate. Just
Exactly.
communicate. We can forgive you and work with you if you let us know what's going on, but please tell us.
Hmm. Yeah. Absolutely.
Beth says, I will call one of my peeps like Heidi or do the
Yeah.
solo episode on a live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Heidi, now I know I can do this with you as well. You can just jump in, and yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
If I'm
Yeah.
available, give me a call and I can make it happen. I will. So,
Wonderful. Yeah.
all right, Helena,
Absolutely.
thank you so much. This was an amazing show. Thank you to our audience as well for bringing your energy, your questions. You guys helped make this happen with us for
Absolutely.
sure. So,
You're so welcome. And thanks everybody for being here and for, spending your time and your energy and your participation to
absolutely.
contribute to this energy. Absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. And for any of you that could not join us live today, we still want to hear from you. So drop your biggest takeaway into the comments. Use the hashtag replay. And if you got questions, drop them in there. We'll pop back by and answer them. Just tag us so that we know. I mean, I check about once a week anyway, but if you tag us, then we will make sure we get your questions answered too. And we are going to leave you here today. And we will be seeing you soon. Ciao and thank you.